Hello everyone and welcome to Informatica support videos. My name is Akshada and today in this video we will be covering how to configure operating system profiles for data quality. Agenda of this video will be to understand operating system profiles, why to use operating system profiles, what configuration is required at Unix level and what configuration is required at application level and a quick demo on the same. Operating system profile is a type of security feature which would isolate the runtime environment for the users based on the requirement. It allows integration service or data integration service to run the mappings, workflows, profiles, and scorecards by creating a separate runtime environment. To configure any Informatica environment to run the jobs using operating system profile, we have three important configuration steps. First, the operating system profiles should be created in the admin console. Second one is the configuration at the Unix level, and third is the configuration at the Informatica application level. We will first go through the Unix level configuration for the operating system profile. So we should be having different users which will be responsible to run the jobs. Now let us see the Unix level configurations required for operating system profile. But before we look into the configurations, let us see the prerequisites for this configuration. We have 5 important factors which we need to consider before we configure the operating system profile for Unix. First thing is sudo permissions should be there for the user who starts Informatica services. Second one, on the Unix or Linux, you need to ensure that set UID is enabled for the file system. If at all the set UID is not enabled, you might consider remounting the file system and ensuring that set UID is set. Next is all the users should have 755 permissions on InfaHome Services shared bin directory, and all the operating system profile users should have minimum 755 permission on the directory where PMSUID file is located, which is nothing but on InfaHome Services shared bin location. The next and the most important one is we need to set the owner and group of PMSUID to root. So these are the prerequisites for the operating system profile configuration at the Unix level. Now let us see a quick example as to how this configuration can be done. Now consider an example where root is the administrator user or root is the operating system root user. Infa ABC is the user who is responsible to start the Informatica services, and Infa OS is the operating system profile user. So when you see the ID of the operating system profile user, it is ID Infa OS, and ID Infa ABC is the Informatica server machine user or the user who starts Informatica service. Now as you can see on the screen, we have changed the owner and the group of PMSUID to root. So in this way we have ensured all the configurations for OSP. Now let us see what application level configurations we need to do for OSP. So all we need to do is for data quality, data integration service level configuration needs to be done. So go to admin console, click on manage, go to the data integration service, click on the execution options. In the execution options, you will see use operating system profiles and impersonation set to fault by default. We will have to change this value to true. Once we change this value to true, we need to recycle the DAS. So these two configurations are required to configure operating system profile for data quality. Now let us see a quick demo as to how this can be done. Now let us see a quick demo of this configuration. So in this example, test_OSP is the user who starts Informatica services. OSP user is the user who will be responsible to run the jobs using operating system profile. Now let us change the group and owner of PMSUID to the root. Now let us set the setUID permission. setUID is a Linux file permission setting that allows a user to execute that file or program with the permission of the owner of the file. So in this case, owner becomes the root user. So whenever we assign setUID to PMSUID file, any other run configuration user, whenever he tries to run the profile or scorecard or mapping or a workflow, he will be given the permissions or access to run the file or execute a program with the permissions of the root user. And that is why setting setUID is the most important step in configuring the OSP for the Linux configuration. And in this way, we have completed all the Unix level configuration for the operating system profile. So let us quickly review how our PMSUID file looks like. So these are the permissions of the PMSUID file now. The owner and the group is same as that of the root, and we have the set UID bit set for this particular file. Now let us go and review the data integration service level configuration. For application service level configuration, that is nothing but for data integration service level configuration, log into admin console, click on the data integration service. In the properties tab, under execution options, we will see an option, use operating system profiles. So this is set to false by default. Make sure you are setting this to true. And once you set this to true, you will see additional message in the DIS which says that data integration service is enabled to use the operating system profile. So in this way, we have configured the application service as well to run the operating system profile. In this way, we can configure operating system profile for any IDQ environment. So three important configurations. First is Unix level configuration for operating system profile. Second one is application level configuration. And third one is creating the operating system profile from the admin console. So to create operating system profile, just log into admin console, go to the security tab, click on the operating system profiles, click on the actions drop down, click on create profile, give some name, say OSP user 1, and specify the system username. System username is nothing but the operating system user who we have configured to run at the runtime environment. So in my case, it is OSP user. So if we see at the Unix level, this is the user which I will be using, the OSP user. Because test OSP is the one who starts Informatica services, and this is responsible to execute the operating system profiles. So I'm going to use this user. I just want data integration service to be executed. I do not want Power Center, so I'm just choosing data integration service. In the DIS root directory, you can specify any location which this particular user has access to. So for example, I'm going to mention /home/OSP user, which is present on my home file system, and I'm just going to add everyone as the group and finish. So in this way, you can configure operating system profile for any of the data integration service related use cases. We would love to hear from you on the feedback of the video and the content of the video. You can tweet us at the given Twitter handle, or you can write an email to supportvideos@informatica.com. Thank you.